Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for Tuesday, February 2nd. May we have roll call?
Council members Wenby.
Here.
Okeberg.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Dotson.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight in this warm and wonderful evening. And with that, we will move on to approval of the agenda. And I don't see any additions or changes. Look for a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Nate Dotson to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to the public hearing. Proposed improvement 16,001, 2016 street and utility projects, and this will go to Kyle.
Wes, I'll have to recuse myself from this.
Thank you.
Good evening. This is the annual street and utility improvement project. Affects Olympic Hills Place northeast, portions of 22nd Street southeast, portions of Cedardale Lane southeast, and 30th Place and southwest. We did hold a neighborhood meeting last Tuesday night. It was well attended with property owners, a lot of good questions. Other than that, I'm available for any questions you might have.
Thank you. And at this point at 7:02, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this issue, please come to the microphone and address the council. Seeing none, we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Nate Dotson to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now it is the council's turn to ask questions or proceed. What is the council's, any questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 10-16.
We have a motion by Brent Svenby to approve Resolution 10-16. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to the mayor, we have one item for the mayor, and what's that?
Thank you, Les. We have one vacancy on the Airport Commission, and Greg Kruger has agreed to fill that vacancy with the council's approval. So I am recommending that we appoint Greg Kruger to the Airport Commission and would like to have approval from the council.
Okay. Questions from the council?
Is that Greg from St. Clair's? That one?
Yes. What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Greg
Second.
Krieger, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? He has been approved, and he'll be here next meeting?
He was not able to attend tonight, but he will have the oath of office given to him at the Airport Commission meeting.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thank you. Moving on to financial report, and we'll ask Councilmember Greg Schultz to read the financial report.
The expenditures presented for approval tonight are as follows. Checks over $20,000 are $41,000 to Restoration Services, Inc. for an SCDP grant expenditure on the Completely Kids building. $52,601 to Dell's Construction Company, Inc. for the Art Center project. $68,193 to I-State Truck Center for a 2016 Freightliner. $227,777 to Instaform Tech USA for sanitary sewer slip lining. That's a tough one to say. $35,553 to Owatonna Ford for a 2016 Ford F-550. $35,387 to R&K Electric for the Art Center project, $40,775 to Rokon Inc. for the Art Center project. Other expenditures of $211,003, make a subtotal presented tonight of $712,291.26. Add to that the HRA Section 8 payments of $57,444.15. Makes a total presented for approval tonight of $769,735.41.
Thank you, Greg.
Motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okaberg. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to the consent agenda items, which are meeting minutes, permit request, commission board reports, etc., all grouped into one motion. What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion on these? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved. Moving down to action items, 3.1.1, temporary liquor license for Steele County Historical Society, February 19th. And this will go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. There was a recent amendment to the state statute regarding alcohol tastings, and so it is now required that this historical society request a on-sale temporary liquor license for this event of tasting around the world brew fest. The fee is budget impact is $50, and we've received the certificate of insurance and would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okaberg. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to 3.2.1, second reading of proposed ordinance 1-16 to vacate a portion of Mineral Springs Parkway, Thames Edition, and this will go to Troy.
So at the last council meeting, you had the first reading of street right-of-way for Mineral Springs Parkway. This is in front of Thamert Edition. The request is to vacate all the right-of-way on the eastern half of the center of the road and then replatting a 33-foot wide right-of-way as part of the plat for Thamert Edition. So staff would recommend approval of the ordinance to vacate that portion of Mineral Springs Parkway, conditioned on Thamert Plat Edition being approved and that the recording happened at the same time that the plat is recorded.
Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes on this?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, this being an ordinance, ask for a roll call.
Councilmember Okaberg,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Burbank,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Swenby,
Aye.
Dotson,
Aye.
Abraham.
Aye.
All members vote aye.
This has been approved, and this being the second reading, this has now been approved. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Moving down to 3.3.1, Resolution 1116, to approve acquisition of parkland in Thamert Edition, and we're back to Troy.
And we mentioned at the time of preliminary plat approval at the last council meeting that staff was working with the property owner on a potential exchange of parkland for proposed assessments against the property. The amount of assessments against the property would be $20,602.40, and that amount, and the amount of land proposed for the park would be 1.4 acres. This equates to about $14,716 per acre. Now, we don't have many examples of this sort of exchange or even purchasing of parkland. We did have one example where the city did purchase some parkland in Darts Park adjacent to Fuller Field a number of years ago that equated to about $15,000 per acre. So that was the basis for establishing a trade for the assessments. The proposed outlot contains much of the area at the bottom of the hill, some of which is within the floodplain. This area is the area that's used by people in the park. The hill would then become the feature that separates the parkland and the private property at the top of the hill. The city has made flood mitigation a priority in our strategic plan, which has included acquiring property that has been used for parkland, so this exchange would be consistent with that priority. If approved, the city would be responsible for covering the $20,602 in assessments for the improvements of Mineral Springs Parkway that was completed last year in front of the Thamer addition. And the city would also be responsible for maintaining the outlot as parkland, which we anticipate which would be minimal cost because it is more of a natural park area. So staff would recommend approval of resolution authorizing the exchange of preliminary assessments of $20,602.40 for the proposed outlot in Thamer addition.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve Resolution 1116.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve Resolution 1116. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.3.2, which is Resolution 1216, the final plat approval for Thamer addition, and back to Troy.
So this is the plat of the property of the Thamer addition, 3-lot plat, with the outlot being proposed for the parkland. There was some adjustments made to that outlot with the negotiations for that exchange from the preliminary plat approval. Sewer would be provided off a private easement at the back of the properties, and staff would recommend approval of the final plat of Thamer addition.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do you have a second to that?
Brent.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That has been approved also. Moving down to Resolution 13-16, support SIMPA request for legislation exempting the Owatonna Energy Center, and this...
Thank you, Les. SIMPA wanted to be here tonight, but due to road conditions, didn't think it was worth the task of trying to drive over. So they had sent me something that I will read, and it says, Southern Minnesota Municipal Power Agency is requesting a resolution in support of a real property tax exemption for the natural gas-fired engines to be installed at the new 38.8 megawatt Owatonna Energy Station, located near County Roads 75 and 25. The plant is currently under construction and is expected to be operational by the fall of 2017. The value of engines is expected to be in the $15 to $18 million range. The total project cost is expected to be $44 million. This tax treatment would be consistent with the SIMPA plant recently constructed in Fairmont and most other similar natural gas-fired power plants constructed in Minnesota over the past 20 years. The personal property tax exemption would place the Owatonna Energy Station on a level playing field with other similar natural gas-fired plants in Minnesota and help keep SIMPA's wholesale prices competitive with other utilities. If the City Council does approve the resolution, SIMPA would seek a similar resolution from the County Board, and if successful there, would work to have legislation introduced and passed in the upcoming legislative session to provide for this personal property tax exemption. It is possible that the property tax formula for the electric generation in Minnesota may change. A bill to revise the formula to be production-based was discussed in the 2015 legislative session and is expected to be discussed again in the 2016 session. Should such legislation pass in its current or similar form, SIMPA expects that property tax payments to Owatonna would increase. SIMPA is generally supportive of such legislation so long as a level playing field is maintained between similar plans. Simpa greatly appreciates the support it has received from the city and his construction of his new plant. This is a resolution that they're asking for that we would sign. They would also go to the county board and ask for that same resolution. They would take both resolutions to the state legislature and look to see if they could get a property tax exemption for this plant from the state legislature. We're not approving anything except the resolution saying that we are in support of that tax exemption.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dodson to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.4, Resolution 14-16 is the authorized purchase of property at 2662 and 2668 24th Avenue Northeast, and we'll back to Troy.
The city's major facilities plan calls for acquiring a site for a future fire substation in the northeast part of the city to help meet the fire department's response time in emergencies in that area of the city. Staff analyzed different sites in the northeast part of town for future sites of a substation. Some of those were the impact on the ISO rating for insurance companies for the city of Owatonna, response time, also acquiring about 3 acres to accommodate a fire substation as well as potential future expansion, and a preference towards being on the corner of 2 major roadways. The city has a purchase agreement on the property at 2662 24th Avenue Northeast with a purchase price of $125,000, and that's contingent on city council approval. The property currently has a vacant house and 2 detached garages. We also have a verbal agreement to purchase the property at 2668 24th Avenue Northeast for the amount of $59,000. That property has a house which is also currently vacant and has a detached garage. The 2 properties together equate to 3.07 acres, and that's excluding the street right-of-way on 26th Street and 24th Avenue. One benefit of this site is that we are able to remove 2 dilapidated houses, which does meet the city's strategic goals of strategic redevelopment or residential redevelopment. Both properties currently sit within Clinton Falls Township, outside of city limits, and since they are outside of city limits, there might be a possibility to actually burn down some of the structures for fire department training. That would save some costs for demolition and clearing of the site. After closing on the properties, we would begin discussions with Clinton Falls Township about annexing the properties. The cost for purchasing the property and removal of structures is proposed to come out of the city's fund balance. The facilities plan allocated $200,000 for a site. We don't know the exact cost for cleaning up the site as of yet, but we would be close to that $200,000 given the purchase prices we have proposed here. The city would be responsible for maintaining the property once the property is purchased, so staff would recommend approval of Resolution 1416 approving the purchase of the properties at 2662 and 2668 24th Avenue Northeast.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okelberg. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.4.1, Airport Master Plan, and we're back to Troy.
At the last council study session 2 weeks ago, we did have some discussion about the airport master plan, kind of went through that so that you guys could have time to digest that before we proposed it for approval. Just to point out a few things, the results of the master plan document and depicted airport layout plan does include a 1,500-foot runway and taxiway extension to 7,000 feet, and hangar development on the east, south, and north quadrants for future revenue generation. This document would ultimately be approved by MnDOT and FAA, but they've been working with us throughout this whole process, so we would expect that that approval process would go well. We did also include a financial feasibility analysis to maximize the use of available resources for future project funding and determine where opportunities for additional airport revenue may be available, and that's part of our goal to be self-sustaining. We also included a long-term capital improvement plan for future improvements out at the airport. So staff would recommend approval of the airport master plan document and airport layout plan to be submitted to MnDOT Office of Aeronautics and the FAA for their review.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been a very good plan. I was very pleased with what they came up with. Moving on down to contract agreements, 3.5.1 is a stormwater easement, 2016 Southeast Stormwater Improvements, Phase 2, and this we go to Kyle.
Good evening. As part of developing the plans for the Southeast Stormwater Improvements, we met with one of the property owners in the Cedardale Edition. There's an existing storm sewer easement. It runs very close to an existing building. It's shown in Exhibit B. In talking with them, in our preliminary discussions, they suggested that they would prefer to have that easement moved onto a adjoining property to the west. We went back, sketched it up, and I feel that it works better for both parties to relocate that storm sewer. In total, the amount of pipe stays the same, but the location is much better for both of us. So this would be to accept the new easement of 40 feet on the west side of Block 3 and vacate the easement, or agree to vacate. This wouldn't actually be vacating the easement on the adjoining property. So there is no cost to the city other than preparing the documents and publication. So we recommend approval.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do you have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.6.1, adjustment to base benefit, the retirement pension. This will go to Chris to start with.
Thank you, Les. We also have Todd Ehrlich here with the treasurer with the Relief Association. He may want to add some comments. Each year, the Relief Association reviews the percent funded of the account. We had reached an agreement with the Relief Association previously that allowed for a minimum of 110% funded with a maximum increase of $350 per year. Their present percentage of funding is at 130%, and so with this increase to $6,100 per year, they would be still at 114% funded. It does not affect the city budget as they're over 110% funded. So staff would recommend approval. If you have any other additional questions, I'm sure Todd would be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Questions, council? What is the council's wishes?
Move to
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Brett Svenby to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Olkenberg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving on down to public comment, and if anyone in the audience wishes to speak on any issue, please step forward to the mic and sign in. Seeing none, we will move on to council comment, and we will start with Jeff.
I just want to say thank you to the city shop workers for the hard work that they've been doing and continued work tonight, and thank them for their efforts.
Thank you, Jeff. Greg.
Just everyone be safe out there.
Thank you. Dave.
Nothing tonight.
Kevin.
Nothing tonight.
Brent.
Nothing tonight.
Nate.
Nothing to add.
Mr. Mayor.
Chris and Jeanette have done such a good job of putting the State of the City for 2015 together. It is February of 2016, so if there is any groups or anybody that would love to have Chris and myself come and do a presentation of the State of the City, just let either Chris or myself know.
Thank you. Chris?
And just to let you know, the mayor and I are going to kick off that talk season tomorrow morning, bright and early at 7 a.m. with the early riser Rotary Club. So we'll be meeting with them tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we do the noon club next Monday on the 8th. Now, one other thing I had that we were going to do a coffee with the council on February 20th. I have that tentative. I just want to confirm if that's a good date for everyone. Typically, we do those at 8:30.
Yes. Okay.
Okay? And that's all I had.
And from my standpoint, please drive safely and get home, stay home and be safe. So with that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Good job.